300 miles off the coast of Okinawa, the USS Gerald R. Ford cuts through the Pacific waters. It's 0400 hours, and the carrier's advanced sonar system detects something unusual. The operators know the signature of every friendly vessel in the area. This one doesn't match any of them. The Chinese Type 093G nuclear submarine represents Beijing's most sophisticated underwater intelligence-gathering platform. Its presence here is no accident. But this time, the hunter became the hunted. The growing tensions between the United States and China have shifted to a new battlefield: the depths of the Pacific Ocean. This incident marks a critical escalation in naval intelligence operations, one that threatens to reshape military dynamics across the Indo-Pacific region. What followed was a 14-hour game of cat and mouse that tested the limits of American naval technology and Chinese stealth capabilities. The outcome would influence military strategies across the Pacific for years to come. The stakes couldn't be higher. Aircraft carriers are the cornerstone of American naval power projection. A single carrier group represents billions in military assets and hosts over 5,000 personnel. The intelligence gathered from studying these vessels, movements, their capabilities, their vulnerabilities, could shift the balance of power in the region. The Chinese submarine's mission targeted more than just military intelligence. It demonstrated Beijing's growing boldness in challenging American naval dominance. Every piece of data collected, every pattern observed, feeds into China's broader strategy to control critical maritime channels across the South China Sea. But the USS Gerald R. Ford wasn't defenseless. The most advanced carrier in the U.S. fleet carries sophisticated anti-submarine warfare capabilities. The detection of this Chinese submarine proved these systems work and sent a clear message to Beijing about the risks of such bold intelligence operations. This interception revealed the true state of submarine warfare in 2025. Gone are the days of blind sonar sweeps and educated guesses. Today's cat-and-mouse games play out through quantum sensors, AI-powered acoustic analysis, and advanced thermal detection systems. The technologies that detected this submarine remain classified. The methods used to track it are kept secret, but the message sent by this interception echoed across the Pacific. America's carriers are not blind to what lurks beneath the waves. The story begins with the advanced sonar systems aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford. These arrays, stretching along the carrier's hull, detected an anomaly that shouldn't have been there. Detection technologies and methods. The USS Gerald R. Ford's detection of the Chinese submarine wasn't luck. It was the result of decades of technological advancement. Modern carrier groups employ a sophisticated network of sensors that transform the ocean into a three-dimensional battlefield map. The Ford's hull-mounted sonar array creates detailed acoustic profiles of everything within a 30-mile radius. Each vessel type has a unique signature. Civilian cargo ships sound different from fishing boats. Nuclear submarines have distinct profiles from diesel-electric ones. The Chinese Type 093G submarine has its own acoustic fingerprint, but sound isn't the only telling sign. Nuclear submarines, despite their stealth, leave other traces. Temperature variations in the water, minute changes in local magnetic fields, and even the disturbance of bioluminescent organisms can reveal their presence. The Ford sensor suite monitors all these indicators simultaneously. The carrier didn't work alone. A P-8 Poseidon Maritime Patrol aircraft circled high above, dropping sonobuoys, sophisticated underwater listening devices that create a web of detection points.
Each sonobuoy transmitted data back to the aircraft, helping to triangulate the submarine's position with increasing precision. At 0600 hours, the submarine attempted to slip away by using thermal layers in the ocean, boundaries where temperature changes can bend and deflect sonar waves. It's a classic evasion technique, one that worked well during the Cold War. But modern processing systems can compensate for these distortions. The Ford's Combat Information Center transformed this flood of sensor data into actionable intelligence. Machine learning algorithms, trained on thousands of hours of submarine tracking exercises, filtered out ocean background noise and highlighted subtle patterns of movement. Submarines typically maintain their advantage through silence and stealth. But silence itself can be revealing. When the Chinese vessel went completely quiet, it actually stood out against the normal background noise of marine life and distant shipping traffic.
The cat and mouse game continued for hours. Each time the submarine changed depth or direction, the carrier group's sensors tracked the movement. The Chinese crew's evasion techniques revealed their level of training, their operational protocols, and the capabilities of their vessel. This wasn't just about tracking one submarine. Every minute of this encounter generated valuable data about Chinese naval capabilities. The submarine's maximum speed, its depth changes, its acoustic signature. All this information helps refine American anti-submarine warfare tactics. While the Ford's crew tracked the submarine's movements, naval intelligence officers began piecing together the broader mission profile. The Chinese vessel's path, when analyzed, revealed a calculated pattern of intelligence gathering. The submarine's mission, the Type 093 Jishang-class submarine, represents a $950 million investment in China's undersea warfare capabilities. With a maximum depth rating of 1,600 feet and an estimated top speed of 35 knots, it's designed for one primary purpose: challenging American naval dominance in the Pacific. In the past 24 months, Chinese submarines have conducted 157 known intelligence gathering operations against U.S. carrier groups. But this mission was different. The submarine's positioning suggested a new, more aggressive collection strategy. It maintained a distance of just 13 nautical miles from the carrier, nearly half the usual standoff range. The Type 093G carries the U-6 Advanced Passive Sonar System, capable of detecting carrier operations from up to 30 nautical miles away. At 13 miles, it could capture high-fidelity acoustic signatures of the Ford's propulsion system, flight operations, and underwater communications. January 15, 2025, marked a critical shift in Chinese submarine tactics. The vessel wasn't just collecting signals intelligence, it was mapping the Ford's anti-submarine warfare response protocols. Each evasive maneuver was calculated to test American detection capabilities. The submarine's crew executed a series of increasingly bold maneuvers. At 0900 hours, they positioned their vessel directly under a commercial shipping lane, using the merchant traffic as acoustic cover. This tactic, first developed by Soviet submarines in the 1980s, has been refined by the Chinese Navy through hundreds of hours of specialized training. Inside the submarine's intelligence-gathering suite, sophisticated recording equipment captured terabytes of acoustic data. The U-6 system can differentiate between individual aircraft types based on their deck operations sounds. Every F-35 launch, every helicopter landing, every deck movement adds to China's acoustic intelligence database. The submarine's mission also targeted the carrier's underwater defense network. By probing different sectors around the Ford,
It mapped out the positioning of towed sonar arrays and established their detection ranges. This information alone is worth millions in intelligence value. At 1100 hours, the submarine performed its most daring maneuver. It shifted depth to 800 feet, entering the thermocline layer where temperature differences distort sonar signals. This wasn't just evasion. It was calibration. The crew was measuring exactly how well American sonar could penetrate this natural barrier. Naval intelligence estimates that a single successful collection mission like this can advance China's anti-carrier capabilities by months. The data gathered helps refine submarine tactics, improve sonar systems, and identify vulnerabilities in American carrier operations. As the submarine's mission became clear, the USS Gerald R's crew prepared for the most critical phase of the encounter, the response. What happened next would demonstrate why aircraft carriers remain the most formidable surface vessels ever built. The response and implications. Aircraft carriers don't hunt alone. The Ford strike group includes the USS Normandy, a Ticonderoga-class cruiser carrying the AN/SQQ-89 V-15 combat system. This advanced sonar suite can track multiple undersea contacts simultaneously. Within minutes, it established a complete firing solution on the Chinese submarine. At 1300 hours, two MH-60R Seahawk helicopters launched from the Ford's deck. These aircraft carry the APS-153 radar system, specifically designed to detect submarine periscopes and snorkels. They began systematic search patterns, forcing the Chinese vessel to remain submerged. The Ford's response followed a carefully choreographed protocol developed through decades of anti-submarine warfare experience. The P-8 Poseidon dropped a new pattern of sonobuoys, creating a digital fence around the submarine. Each sonobuoy transmits on different frequencies, making evasion nearly impossible.
By 1430 hours, the Chinese submarine found itself in a tactical checkmate. Surface ships maintained active sonar contact. Aircraft tracked its movement from above. Every escape route had been closed off. The message was clear: the hunter had become the hunted. The Ford's crew executed a series of precise maneuvers, demonstrating capabilities that weren't previously known to Chinese intelligence. The carrier group's ability to maintain continuous tracking for over 14 hours sent a clear strategic message to Beijing. But the real impact of this encounter extends far beyond this single incident. The U.S. Navy's response revealed a new generation of anti-submarine warfare capabilities. The integration of surface ships, aircraft, and underwater sensors demonstrated a level of coordination that fundamentally changes the calculus of submarine operations. Military analysts point to three critical developments. First, quantum magnetometer arrays can now detect submarine movements with unprecedented accuracy. These sensors, mounted on surface ships and aircraft, measure minute changes in the Earth's magnetic field caused by large metal objects moving underwater. Second, artificial intelligence has transformed sonar analysis. Machine learning algorithms can now process acoustic data in real time, distinguishing submarine signatures from background noise with 98% accuracy. This eliminates the traditional advantage submarines held in cluttered underwater environments. Third, networked warfare has eliminated the gaps in coverage that submarines once exploited. When every surface ship, aircraft, and underwater sensor shares data instantaneously, there's nowhere left to hide.
The implications for future naval operations are profound. China's submarine force, once seen as a critical asymmetric threat to carrier operations, must now contend with detection capabilities that strip away their cloak of invisibility. In the aftermath of this encounter, satellite imagery showed increased activity at Chinese naval bases across the South China Sea. Military analysts suggest Beijing is already adapting its submarine tactics. But the fundamental advantage has shifted. The era of undetected submarine surveillance of carrier groups may be coming to an end.
Conclusion.
The January 2025 interception of a Chinese Type 093G submarine by the USS Gerald R marked more than just another incident in the ongoing maritime competition between the United States and China. It demonstrated a fundamental shift in the balance of power beneath the waves. As carrier groups deploy increasingly sophisticated anti-submarine capabilities, the critical question becomes not whether submarines can be detected, but how naval warfare itself will evolve in response. The silent service isn't so silent anymore, and the implications will ripple across every ocean on Earth. The next time a submarine approaches a U.S. carrier group, it will face a choice: remain at a distance that renders intelligence gathering ineffective, or risk detection by the most advanced submarine hunting system ever deployed. Either way, the advantage has shifted back to the surface fleet, rewriting decades of naval doctrine in a single encounter.